Born in Paterson, New Jersey in 1951, Kathryn Sullivan sought out a life less ordinary. After moving to Southern California when Sullivan was 7, she went on to graduate high school, having learned both French and German with an eye to learning Russian. While at the University of California, Santa Cruz, Sullivan began looking at a life in the earth sciences. After being an exchange student in Norway for over a year, Sullivan decided to become an oceanographer. However, fate had different plans. After prompting from her brother, Sullivan applied to NASA for the first class to allow women as astronauts. She put an ocean exploration fellowship on hold when she was invited to the Johnson Space Center for a round of tests and interviews. Kathryn Sullivan traded oceanic research ships for space shuttles when NASA accepted her in the first class of Space Shuttle astronauts. In July 1983, Kathryn Sullivan earned her gold astronaut wings as she rode Space Shuttle Challenger to orbit on STS-41G. During the mission, Sullivan became the first American woman to perform a spacewalk. Along with David Leestma, Sullivan helped demonstrate that satellites could be refueled in space. Sullivan was then assigned to mission STS-61J, the mission to deploy the Hubble Space Telescope. Months before their planned liftoff, the whole shuttle program was put on hold due to the Challenger disaster. Shuttle operations began again just over 2 years later, with a better agency and better shuttle systems. Sullivan and the Hubble telescope team used this extra time to design and test every tool needed to repair and maintain Hubble throughout its working life. Finally, in April 1990, Sullivan and her crew launched into space aboard the orbiter Discovery, with the Hubble telescope nestled in her cargo bay. During the mission, Sullivan supported the deployment of the telescope and performed an array of scientific experiments. In 1992, Sullivan rocketed into space again aboard Atlantis on STS-45. The 9-day mission was designed to study planet Earth with a host of experiments, both in the cabin and the cargo bay. With over 532 hours in space on 3 different spacecraft, Kathryn Sullivan left NASA in 1992 for a presidential appointment at NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. In 1996, Kathryn Sullivan became the president and CEO of one of the nation's leading hands-on science museums, COSI, the Center of Science and Industry in Columbus. After a decade in this role, she returned again to national service. In 2011, she was appointed by President Obama as Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Environmental Observation and Prediction and Deputy Administrator for NOAA. In 2013, she moved up to the position of Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere and NOAA Administrator. Since finishing her time at NOAA, Sullivan has busied herself with positions at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum and the Potomac Institute for Policy Studies. A dive to the Challenger deep in the Marianas Trench in 2020 made her the most vertical person in the world, the first person to both fly in space and dive to the ocean's deepest point. In recognition of her remarkable achievements, Sullivan has received numerous honors and awards throughout her career. Her contributions to oceanography, space exploration, national policy, and public outreach have solidified her status as a pioneer and role model. We are honored to welcome astronaut and scientist Kathryn Sullivan to the National Aviation Hall of Fame.